So when I think of Vedauwoo, I just think of heinous, sharp, scrappy offwidths. How much of it is that versus finger cracks, other things?
It's hard to I climbed almost every hard finger crack in Vedauwoo except Home on the Range, and there was one or two other kind of well-known ones that I didn't get around to trying. But when you think of a finger crack, you don't really think of the kind of finger cracks you get in Vedauwoo, because they're really more like hand cracks, where it's a finger crack in the back, but it's so flared. Everything is so flared that you're almost doing these weird flared cupped hand jams with your fingers shoved into a crack at the back.
Whoa.
Or it's these weird flared hands that you're protecting with finger-sized cams. And then so it's, you're never doing finger locks the way they feel in Indian Creek or Index or Squamish or any other place. And even the cracks of all other sizes, it's it isn't all offwidth, but it all kind of feels really physical and burly and there is these sneaky offwidth sections on most routes. And but I would say rather than being defined by wide cracks, it's defined by flared cracks.
Okay.
And it makes everything, it makes the gear kind of scary and difficult to place on a lot of stuff. And it makes everything so physical. And I learned so much climbing this really weird style.
Yeah.
But there also is a significant amount of wide cracks and a lot of notorious test pieces and things that just require these tricks that you never use anywhere else.
Interesting that you described that process. You felt like that process made you stronger leading up to Home on the Range. What were some of the things that you learned, either about the specific climbing techniques or logistical or tactical stuff? Maybe, I don't even know, how you tape different parts of your body. What are some of the things that you learned from climbing there?
Well, I definitely learned a lot about all of those things. I had the opportunity to climb with a lot of people that have spent a lot of time there and really know how to deal with the harshness of the Vedauwoo rock, because it is really sharp. It's like J-Tree, only sharper. It's kind of crazy.
Jesus.
And so I learned a lot of just tactics in terms of how to tape, how to protect my shoes by, there's this thing that everybody does there apparently, where you buy powdered rubber and you mix it with barge cement, and then you coat the top of your shoes so that you have more rubber on top of your shoes.
No
and
way.
It kind of, it makes them last longer. And it also just makes them way stickier, especially if you're doing some kind of inverted thing.
Okay.
And I learned I started using elbow pads and knee pads, and figured out how to get away with not wearing long sleeves and pants in the middle of summer by doing that. Because when I first showed up, I was like, how am I ever going to survive here? I hate climbing in pants, and it's summer, and this is the offwidth land. But I figured out how to navigate that in my own way. And then I also learned I learned a tremendous amount about just climbing offwidth in general. Coming back to the creek, it's shocking how much easier they feel. Ones that I struggled my way up last season, I can just, cruise up and I know how to climb sizes. I still struggle with anything bigger than 5. 6s are still really hard for me. And, I'm ridiculously bad at chimneying, which is kind of funny because, chimney's not supposed to be hard, but I have such a hard time with it. I blame my long limbs and lack of technique, but I did get better at, all of that stuff, and it's really cool. And I have more of an appreciation for it now too.
Okay. Okay, God, there's so much I want to hit on with that. With the knee bar pads, or the knee pads and elbow pads, are you using knee bar pads or more traditional?
No.
Okay.
No, because it's not about friction.
Right.
It's just about
abrasion.
protection.
Okay, abrasion protection.
Yeah.
Are these just like neoprene sleeves that you buy from the like Rite Aid or something, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Interesting. And then with the different sizes, you just mentioned having a hard time with 5s. I'd love to hear, like, how do you think about approaching some of those different sizes as far as like what, let's say just like what hand techniques you're going to use? I mean, I'm totally a noob at all this stuff, but I'm, vaguely familiar with like butterflying and all these different ways that you match your hands together and stuff. So let's start with like, I don't know, what's a good hand size for you, like 2 or 3?
Yeah, for me, I can even get like really cupped hands in tight 4s.
Okay.
Because like it's pretty much I'm doing cupped hands up until I can get fists.
Okay.
And I get fists and starting in tight 4s, and then I don't really do any stacks until there's some way that I can get like a lock, like a calf lock, because otherwise you can't move your stack up if you can't let go with both hands at once.
Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed that teaser of this week's follow-up. If you want full access to follow-ups, you can sign up for $5 a month on Patreon at patreon.com/thenuggetclimbing. Or you can go to thenuggetclimbing.com and click on the support the podcast button at the top. If you're on your smartphone, just tap those 2 little lines at the top of the page and you'll see the button in the drop-down menu. $5 per month gets you access to all follow-up calls, past and future. As long as you are a member, you'll have access to all of them. As you just heard in the teaser, I've been recording some follow-up conversations with past guests on the show to talk about what they've been up to lately and to go even further into the weeds on a specific topic than we typically would on the podcast. Follow-ups are 20 to 30 minutes in length, occasionally longer, and I will be releasing one every other week to make sure I always have plenty of podcast guests to follow up with. If you sign up for follow-up calls, what you are really doing is supporting the regular podcast and helping me continue to chase down interesting guests so I can pick their brains and bring you new nuggets every week. And by signing up on Patreon, you get some bonus content to look forward to as well. In addition to getting access to follow-ups, I will also let you know who's coming up on the show, and you can submit patron questions for upcoming guests, as you have undoubtedly heard in other episodes of the podcast. $5 per month. Think of it as buying me a beer at the local brewery after a long day of climbing. Whether or not you choose to sign up, thank you for listening, and feel free to share the podcast with your friends or leave a rating on your listening app. It truly helps, and I appreciate you for tuning in. I am very grateful for you guys. Much love to you all. We'll see you next time.
Move with the rhythm. Shake it up, stop when the clock hits 13. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.